Yeah, Bang Bang Ray. I just done one, a little one about Terry Milne, but I didn't like it. It was all upside down, and I made a bit of mistakes and all that. I didn't like it, so I took it off. Yeah. Anyway, let's do one about Frankie Fraser. I was in Chelmsford Prison, 76, 77, in the kitchen. Come up one afternoon, and went to my cell. I come out my cell, I could hear like a little people shouting and hollering, screaming, and this, that, and the other. And I think it was David Fraser and Patrick Fraser. They was both there, and their dad had just come in, Frankie Fraser. And I've never really seen Frank before. I've heard lots of stories about him, and he's a legend, isn't he? Come on, he's a legend, Frank, the old man. He's a legend, yeah. But when you hear stories about Frank, you expect Frank to be what? I don't know, 6'10", 6'11", as wide as they come, massive geezer, a big powerful man. And it wasn't like that at all. It wasn't like that at all, mate. When he walked up the stairs with a limp. His boys carried his bags. You think a geezer that had been away for all that time, and he'd been away for a long, long time, Frank, that he'd have about 40 bags, you know what I mean? But he only had a couple of bags, because Frank was one of them people, he was very against the system, and so he never had anything more than what he should have. He used to have his radio, soap, toothpaste, and all that sort of stuff. He never had we got: carpets, curtains, beds, pillows, and all that sort of thing. He never had nothing like that, record players. It was just bare necessities. So he had two pillowcases with bits and pieces, bit of food and all that going in, yeah. So he's walking up the landing, he's on my landing. He's 2 cells from me. His boys are there, open up, he goes in, and they're all sitting down talking. And also Frank comes out, he passes me, I'm on the landing, he passes me, pulling. David Fraser walks by, Patrick Fraser walks by, he said, Patrick Fraser introduced to me, this is Ray Hill. Hello, boy. He shook my hands and walked down the landing. They was taking him to Ronnie Bender's cell, to see Ronnie Bender. Ronnie Bender was one of the people that anybody knew coming into prison would go to Ronnie Bender's cell. Ronnie Bender's cell, introduce yourself, and people in the cell and this, that, and the other, let you know tell you about the regime. He run it with Jimmy Tibbs. Yeah. So Jimmy Tibbs was in the kitchen. I was out of the kitchen, just having a break or whatever I was doing, yeah. So I could see Frankie Fraser going into Ronnie Bender's cell. It seems strange, isn't it, that Ronnie Bender, as I said before, Ronnie Bender was with the Craze, and Ronnie Bender got involved with that lot. And to see Fraser going in to see Ronnie Bender, but Fraser was involved with the Craze a lot more than people think. A lot of people were saying no, he wasn't involved with the Craze at all. He was, but he was also with the Richardsons big time. But obviously, people were just saying no, he was not involved with the Craze, but he was. Yeah, definitely, 100%, he was involved with the Craze. I had information of that from a guy that was very, very friends with the Richardsons, big time. It was one of the important ones. He was their enforcer, a big enforcer, was Tony Lawrence. And so Tony Lawrence would tell me more about Fraser, because he only told me more about Fraser when Fraser got into prison. Anyway, I goes back down the kitchen. Jimmy Tibbs, the old man's in there. There's Alan Dixon in there. There's a few people in there. Georgie Jones, Gorgeous George. There's a few people in there anyway. Ronnie Bender isn't there. Ronnie Bender's upstairs in his cell. So I walked in there and I said to the old man Jim, I said, look, he just come, Frankie Fraser. He went, oh dear. He said, there'll be trouble now. You know, a bit of aggravation. He's just turned up. He just caused problems, you know what I mean? And he just caused problems. Alan Dixon said, yeah, he's a pain in the butt. He just caused plenty of aggro and this, that and the other. But anyway, Ronnie Malloy, Ronnie Malloy shot out with a big parcel, and he went over to the C Wing and delivered what he had to delivered it to Ronnie Bender, that's what it was told, and come back. He said, yeah, Fraser's with Ron. And they're just chatting, you know. So anyway, it was now tea time. We all got on the hot plate. dishing out all the bits and pieces. Jimmy Tibbs, the old man, he got on the hot plate as well because he wants to see Fraser walk by, just have a quick nod, how you going, mate, and all that crap. And so he comes by, Fraser comes by, he comes by with a plate. You know, usually it's a tray, but because his sons are there, they give him plates and cups and all this, that and the other. He comes past, gets his little bit of food, and then you can see David and Patrick saying, "Well, Dad, you don't want that. You're having something nice to eat tonight." He says, "Put that down, throw that in there." And what did the old man do? Straight away, he threw it on the floor. He threw the he threw the food on the floor. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why? You know, why did you want? Why? It's like, he ain't got to prove nothing. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows where he comes from, what family he's got, and you know, and how dangerous he is as a man. Frankie Fraser, the old man, he can't have a fight with them, but he's really, really, really dangerous. He's a little guy that worked with big companies, worked with Billy Hill, worked with Richardson's, worked with the Crays. He worked with a lot of bad people. He was one of the enforcers and also a torturer. A lot of torturing he'd done. I talked to Johnny Critterton. Frankie Fraser used to go over Johnny Critterton's and torture people in the ground kennels. So there's a lot of stories come out there. And when I went to the ground kennels, you could smell it. You walked into the kennels and you could smell that fear, blood fear. You could smell it and sense the fear and all that in it. You could sense it. As soon as you're told about what's going on in there, you can feel it. You look around and you visualise what's happening, you know. But visualise and actually seeing it is two different things, isn't it? You know, I mean, to actually see that. And when I used to talk to Johnny Critterton about Frankie Fraser, and Frankie Fraser and Johnny Critterton did tell me that Frankie Fraser was only a small man, but a very dangerous man. If he had you tied up in a chair or wherever, you would definitely tell him what he wanted to know. Without a shadow of doubt, he would just rip you to pieces. There was no quims and qualms about what he'd done. He just done it, you know, and he'd done it the best he could do. The best one at it, yeah. So he did tell me that he wasn't a big man, but as I say, when he walked up the stairs in Chelmsford Prison, I expected him to be a lot bigger than what he was. I know 6'11" is about the top, but I expected him a bit bigger than what he was. But he's a tiny little man, mate. Frail, very frail, yeah. I suppose being bashed up and beat up and all this that and the other like he had been, that's why, more likely, yeah. But when he come down for his food. David Fraser, Patrick Fraser, Dad, leave that. It was up on my landing. I just shouted over there, Dad, leave that because we've got a meal tonight. He just threw it on the floor, and other SO went to him. Listen, Mitchell, he's good, ex-army. He don't care, you know. He don't care about who that is. You know what I mean? He's got his own people in the kitchen who he respects, like Jimmy Tibbs, Ronnie Malloy, Alan Dixon, Gorgeous Georgie Jones, and them sort of people. Me is what he just respects all us lot, and looks upon us as his people, yeah. So he said to Fraser, "Listen, mate, there's no need for that, Frank. Go and get a thing and tidy it up, yeah, and sweep it up." Frank's gone on sweeping at night, you know what I mean? And walked off, yeah. With a limp, he walking a limping. So then he come down, David Fraser come down with a broom and a little thing and picked it up and put it in there. So sorry, apologise, Governor, but you know it is. He's been in blocks and bits and pieces like that. He's got no respect for no one, especially authority, yeah. Anyway, he went upstairs and everything like that, and everyone's coming down and they're saying, "Oh, you see Frankie Fraser's here now, is he going to be aggro?" And everyone's talking about it, you know what I mean? But the old man, Alan Dixon, and all that lot, must have gone, well, it's going to kick off. It's going to kick off, and we'll all get banged up and this, that, and the other, and we'll lose a lot of privileges, well, thanks, yeah. But I got to say, it wasn't that bad. David, Patrick always made sure that Frank got plenty of food. Frank didn't really eat that. I say he was very into the regime or prison, just done bare necessities. In the morning, do the same thing. He'd come out of his cell, go to the washroom, get his water, come back, washing the bowl. He ain't got to do all that because in the toilets you got sinks and showers, so everybody is, you know, we don't do none of that in the cell game. We don't go to toilet in your cell game. We go to toilet in the toilet, which is in the toilet, yeah. But obviously, so like that time I had the run, so I had to do it with Pop, and not Pop me a bag, you know. It's one of the things, isn't it? But anyway, Frank is just doing his own thing, and Frank loved football. He loved football, mate. He was mad on football. He was saying, David Fraser was saying, and Patrick, that the old man, before they smashed his legs in, I think they'd done him in parkour, smashed his legs out in parkour, so I was told. And before they battered him with truncheons and all that on his legs, he used to play a real good footballer, fantastic footballer. And when he was out in the field and all that, he'd play football. He'd hobble along, you know, but he'd play football. You know, listen, he could have been knocked over, you could knock him over with a feather, mate, but no one really took liberties with him. You don't take liberties with someone like that who's got respect. He's a proper legend, yeah. He got respect because if you took liberties with him, you'd be taking liberties after prison, because no one would let you get away with that. He was big. He had lots of respect, even though people in Chelmsford prison were going, it's going to kick off. He's going to cause problems, and we know it's going to kick off because it's kicked off every prison he's been in. Yeah, he's always winding up down the block. Anyway, he's just doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing, but I've got my mate Tony Lawrence, who used to be with the Richardsons, and Frankie Fraser used to always be and also be with the Richardsons. So I'm talking to Tony Lawrence, and Tony Lawrence is saying to me, listen, me and Fraser don't get on at all. We've had loggerheads ever since day one. He says, I'm going back 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, we've always had aggro, because I'm a very, very staunch person, and I was with the Richardsons. I was one of the enforcers, and I was with them all the time. Anything we were doing, I'd done it. Except Fraser was with the Richardsons, Johnny Critterton, and with the Craze. He said he's got to be with one company, and one company was the Richardsons and Johnny Critterton, and that was it. He said he used to go over to see the Craze, whether or not what had been done with the Craze, but he still used to go over and see him, and we got loggerheads with the Craze. So why go over there and see them, and he knows we're going to fall out. It's with Billy Hill, everything, anyway. So Fraser, you could see Tony Lawrence saying to me that him and Fraser just don't get on. Tony Lawrence is on the ones. Fraser is on the twos. 2 cells from me. Lawrence, I went down to see Tony. I was to train with Tony in his cell with the big weight he had, which he's giving me when I leave, you know, as a present. But he's more or less saying to me as well, look, he looked after me with sweets and cigarettes and everything. I was to sell fags for him and sell this, and he used to get things in because he was in the boiler house, and the screws in the boiler house, or the sieve in the boiler house, used to bring things to him, you know, and this, that and the other. So Tony used to give me lots of stuff to sell and for myself, which I loved, yeah. But he said to me, look, me and Fraser don't get on at all. What loggerheads. I don't speak to him, I don't want to talk to him, he don't want to talk to me, I know that Fraser will try and do me, yeah. I know that for a fact. He said, I'm very close now to getting out, you know, right? Very close. In maybe a couple of months, I'm on my way out, yeah? I'm going out soon on home leave. I don't want to get involved with trouble with Fraser. I could do, and then I go and get Big Bird. I don't want to do that. He said, can you do me a favour? I said, what, mate? He said, when Fraser is about, and I get in the shower, all you do is to watch the door for me, And if he's going to come and try and stab me up or do something, yeah, or water me or nothing or something like that, yeah. So please don't let him through the toilet. Okay. And so a couple of times Fraser's tried to get into the toilet, and I said, Frank, come on, mate, you can't get in. And Frank's had a go at me. I said, you can't get in, mate. I'm doing it for your safety and his safety. No one wants to get nicked or nothing. Fraser used to go into one, shout and scream. David come down and just pull Frank away. You know, come on, what do you want to do all that for? You know what I mean? Lawrence had come out with a towel around him with his glasses on and all that. But, you know, it was going to kick off. It's going to kick off. You know it's going to kick off, but it didn't kick off, yeah, because Fraser went. He got chucked out. Fraser walked around the landing with respect. Everybody respected Fraser. He's a legend. Whatever he wanted, he got. His son spoiled him to death. Ronnie Bender spoiled him. Mickey Green didn't really have much to do, and Tony Edlin didn't have much to do with Fraser at all. I don't think Mickey Green liked Fraser. He didn't like the way he was, the way he acted. Tony Edlin was with Mickey Green, so Tony Edlin didn't like it at all. It was one of the things. Joe Lott, the guy who played the organ and all that. Fraser took the piss out of him when he was doing the organ, you know. And if Joe Lott can have a all right fight, Joe Lott. I think Joe Lott was going to oblige Frank, but it was advised not to, because Joe Lott would have got really stabbed up bad by people. You know, Frankie Fraser was a pain in the butt, but he was a legend, and you got to respect that legend, yeah. He'd gone through a lot. He'd done all the system. He hasn't grossed anybody up. He hasn't done. The only thing he's done wrong was being with the Craze, as well as the Magicians, yeah, and as well as Ronnie Critterton and all that thing. So that's an outside thing, not an inside thing. He's never ever done no grossing. He's never done. He doesn't stand for no bullshit. He hates the system. He hates the screws. He hates anything to do with anybody grossing. He hates all that sort of thing. So he's one of your own, yeah. He loved football. He loved his football. His football was something that 24/7, all he was doing was going down to the cinema, to the television room, watch it when there's any football matches on. But they were put on. He was there. Fraser was up front, shouting and screaming as he does, but he's got respect. He used to go outside, watch the football matches and all this, that and the other. But in the wing, what they was doing the toilet. Putting his modernising the toilet, so they would put the corrugated sheets around it to stop anybody going in and nicking whatever they was going to take, and this, that and the other. But so they had padlock on it and everything, and it was secure anyway. And, you know, Fraser come in one day, been watching football outside. They'd won the football match. Fraser was really happy. I mean, he loved to come on. Fair play to him, mate. He loved his football. I'll tell you something about Frank, yeah. You looked at Frank, you looked at his eyes, man. You looked at him and you knew he was a dangerous man. Honestly, mate, he was so dangerous, you know. You knew that he couldn't do nothing physically like that, you know. But if he had this thing in his hands, mate, he was just, and Lawrence knew that. Tony Lawrence knew what he was about, because obviously Tony Lawrence has been around Fraser on the outside. So now Fraser, right, is by the toilet. The toilet is nearly opposite Tony Lawrence's cell, near the recess, yeah. So as Fraser's come in, he's screaming and shouting about the team just won the match, right? And he's banging on this corrugated sheets. Anyway, his sons come in, people come in, pulled him away, took him upstairs. He's screaming and shouting, yeah, going mad like a lunatic. But as I said, everybody respected Frankie Fraser. No one really said anything bad about him. As when I was there, only one that ever said anything bad about him was Tony Lawrence. A lot of people in there, like Terry Millman, Togi Ludlow, Dave Potter, and other people like that, and Lou Swallow, didn't have nothing to do with Frank. They just blanked him because as far as they're concerned, he was aggro, and they didn't want that aggro wrapped around him, you know, because the Knicks are quite Nick. Well, not quite, but he don't really thank you, Fraser, sticking his nose into other people's business when they're going around doing what they're doing. Why should he be sticking anyway? So a couple of days, nothing's happened. It's all quiet in the nick, and then on top of it, all of a sudden, faint. He goes out. It was a football match. He comes back. Someone's sweeping the floor. He takes the geezer's broom. What does he do? He's smashing his corrugated sheet with a broom, smashing it to pieces. No need for that. There's no need to cause problems. It makes you think that he wants to get out of the nick, you know what I mean? He's just smashing the corrugated sheet. His sons are trying to put him away, he ain't having it. Crash, crash. Screws are going mad. Maybe, 5, 6 screws on 2 landings, and the rest were upstairs or whatever they're doing, yeah? But he's smashing it to pieces. Oh, right, bomb. What happens? The next day, or 2 days later, he's in the cell next, 2 cells from me. They come in. I haven't told you about the lamb's eyes. Let's just quickly tell you about that. I've got these lamb's eyes, yeah, these 2 lamb's eyes. These 2 lamb's eyes, yeah, and I want to put them on Fraser's pillow for a laugh, yeah. I'm mad, I shouldn't have done it. He could have stabbed me to death, Frank. So I've tried to do Frank, and he's up early doing his cell spotless. So I put the lamb's eyes in my cell, you know, in a cloth, yeah. So I come up early one day, and his cell's opened up, but he's still in bed. He's still creaked into his cell and put his 2 lamb's eyes on his pillows. I think David and his son, they'd gone mad. I put his lamb's eyes on the pillow. Mate, he must have woke up, looked at the eyes and thought it was his own eyes. Even if you see him, he thinks it's his own eyes. Scream! He went mad. He come out with pyjama bottoms on, like a nutcase. I'll fucking kill you. Who done that? I come on, whoop, zip across, down the stairs, into the kitchen. I was gone. Went mad. But anyway, he did. No one told him whatever. No one knew it was me, but only certain people that are sweet, like Peter Lyons, sweet as a nut. He's one of my pals. So he knew it was me, right? Anyway, but when he started smashing the corrugated sheets, and that was it. That was the end result. One morning, the kitchen, everybody's undone. I was down at the kitchen, I am, bum. They lock all the landings up. The kitchen, the gate that leads into the landing that goes into the kitchen. It's like a little prison where the kitchen is, but it's not used there. So they shut the gate, walk into the kitchen. All of a sudden, the screws come in the kitchen, rabbit, the wall screw, that was the X-block screw, big, horrible man, yeah. He walks out the kitchen. All of a sudden, mate, they locked the door. We ain't allowed out or nothing. And I was going on, go, nothing, we don't know. We go out, they let us out, but not out the gate at the bottom. The gate at the bottom is locked, so we can't get out to go in the ring or do anything. The PO's gone, the SO's gone, you want to unlock it, but you can't get out down anyway. The gate's there. Walk down to the bottom, you could hear screaming, shouting, going absolute mad. The doors are going crash, crash, crash. There's murders. We've been told to go back. Who is it? Frankie Fraser, the old man. They're taking him out, mate. They're being shipped out, mate. He's going. They're walking him across the centre. He ain't being buckled up or nothing. He's walking, mate, but he's screaming and shouting. There's Nick banging and crashing. His boys must be going potty. The old man's being shipped out. It's fucking going mad. The Nick shaking with people smashing the doors and screaming. And he's gone. And I've gone back to the kitchen. They told us all go back to the kitchen. I said to Jimmy Tibbs, I said, this sort of Fraser, ain't they? And Jack and Dixon, I talked that lot, and I said, and one of my lawyer, he calls us George, and a few other people, I said, this got rid of Fraser. he said, Jimmy, old man said, well, that was a dot in the card that he was going to be chucked out. We knew that he was going to be chucked out as a matter of time. We knew that him and fucking Tony Lawrence had got loggerheads. It was only a matter of time for one of them killed each other, you know, so it had to happen. And it was either Lawrence getting chips out because of Fraser, or Fraser getting the chips out because of Lawrence. Now Fraser's gone crazy, smashing the fucking Nick to pieces. He's got to go. So he went. They just went. He was screaming and shouting. The screw in the kitchen, the raw screw, was one of the ones that's got hold him by the arms. They not bucking him up, but it got hold him by the arms and just pulling him out, mate, down the block, boom, gone. He was gone within an hour of just swinging in his cell. Got his son, David or Patrick, to go in his cell, get all his items, shouting and screaming at the screws. You can't no good scram, it ain't their fault. They've been told he's got to go. And he went. And that was the last time that I see Frank on the inside. I was down Paddington in a club called Angelo's, just near Paddington Police Station. And I was downstairs clubbing it with some people. And who's down there? David, Patrick, and the old man Frank. And that's the only time I ain't seen him for ages, you know what I mean? Suited and booted, really smart, mate. Proper gangsterish, you know what I mean? Proper crisp, smart of his boys and all this, that, and the other with Patrick. And we was all down there and having a drink and having a laugh and talking to him about this, that, and the other. I'm glad he never said nothing about me with Tony Lawrence. Looking at, you know. But yeah, he was, I'm okay boy and all that. His boy is always boy. And I'm all right boy and all that, you know. And within, me being down there 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that, crash the door, come in, upstairs, downstairs, old Bill, from Church Street, from Paddington Police Station, and just got rid of us. You know, there was all stuff going under the tables, like coke and fucking this and knives and Stanley knives and all things being chucked under the tables. Loads of coke, grams and grams of coke everywhere being chucked under the tables. It was coming around the old Bill. Like, you get bump, go, church, big crash, you go, couple of birds, you go, got all the bird and all went home, were you? But anyway, it's the last time I see Frank. But anyway, rest in peace, Frank Fraser, the old boy. And that's me. Bang, bang, roll. Please press the like button and subscribe. Nice one.